we can start with Lamar Jackson.
Mhm.
So last week, right, he tweets out a letter to his fans. Quote, as of March 2nd, I have requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens have not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that has met me or been around me knows that I love the game of football and my dream is to help a team win the Super Bowl. You're all great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. So that comes from Lamar Jackson at the end of March. He's noting a request that he made at the very beginning of March, March 2nd, and he's tweeting this out moments before Harbaugh is going live at the owners' meeting about to talk to the press. I mean, first things first, we stand a petty king. Shout out to Lamar for that. Love that. Love the pettiness of it all. But it's interesting to me the timing that this was a request made at the beginning of March and it's not really becoming public knowledge until the end of March, and it seems to me like we're playing some games. We're playing some PR games. We're trying to put the pressure on the Ravens organization to either, concede to his demands and his needs or just basically putting it out to the league, yo, come and get me because I'm ready to be gotten.
Yeah, and I think it's I think it's more so the latter. I think
Yes.
that Lamar is ready to leave Baltimore. I don't think he has any ill will or bad blood towards Baltimore, but they just decided that he's not worth what he thinks he's worth and he wants out. And I think there are numerous teams that should be in the market for Lamar, even including, the Patriots, my favorite team. But it's looking like that's not going to happen. And I'm just interested to see where this all shakes up and ultimately where he does land. I think as it stands right now, Vegas, in my opinion, is currently thinking that he's going to be a Baltimore Raven. I know we're going to talk about win totals, but looking at the Ravens win total here on FanDuel, it's over 8.5 wins at minus 144. So Vegas has set the line that they think the Ravens are going to win, about 9 to 10 games. And if they're winning 9 to 10 games, Lamar is the starting quarterback,
Right.
because this line should be 6.5, 5.5 potentially if anybody besides Lamar Jackson starts games for the Baltimore Ravens next year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with that, and it's interesting to see. But to me, and we talked about this on the last podcast, it seems like that relationship is fractured. I hear what you're saying about them not having ill will, but at the same time, like Lamar has to feel disrespected at this
Oh,
point, right? Like,
absolutely.
and he has to look no further than his own division in the Cleveland Browns and what's happened there to just see like why am I not getting a guaranteed contract like that? And we've talked about this in our Discord channel, and it seems to me like the owners of the NFL are taking a stand against Lamar Jackson because there are probably 26, 25 teams that should be actively trying to get
Mhm.
Lamar Jackson. Like this deal should be done. The demand should be extremely high. If you're not the Bills, Bengals, Chiefs, Chargers, Jags, like if you're not in these teams with solid quarterbacks, top tier quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson is more than likely improving your franchise immediately. So the
Yep.
fact that this deal hasn't gotten done to me is more so about the league not wanting to set a standard that guaranteed contracts are a thing because right now it's really this Watson deal that is an anomaly. And if it starts becoming something that happens again and then happens again, at that point, it's just the standard. And because of Lamar Jackson and, while he is, yes, 26 years old, former MVP, sky high ceiling, he seems like the perfect guy, unfortunately, for the owners to take a stand against with the rushing duality, the questions about him, as ridiculous as they are, in my opinion, about him as a passer. I think he's great, but people can look at him and say, oh, he's just a dual threat quarterback, injury risk, yada, yada, yada. And for that reason, the owners have just seemingly taken a stand against him because this deal should have been done.
Absolutely. And I mean, you laid it out perfectly. You said it's just the perfect storm. And that's kind of what we talked about in the Discord last week or whatever when we were having this conversation. And I was more so arguing that it wasn't really because of the Deshaun Watson deal. It's because Lamar was the perfect quarterback to do this against and for the owners to take a stand against. Like you said, former MVP, but he's missed 5+ games in each of the last 2 seasons. And then there's already concerns about, long-term availability with like running backs, right? Like we say running backs don't matter. And Lamar has the workload of a running back as well as the duties of a quarterback. So there's definitely some inherent risk with Lamar there. And we have two major quarterbacks looking for major extensions in Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. And honestly, if it was one of those two guys and they were in this situation, this wouldn't even be happening.
Yeah.
So it's just an unfortunate fact that Lamar is the perfect quarterback for the NFL and the owners to do this against. I think he's a great quarterback, but like I said, if this was Herbert or Burrow, this wouldn't even be a conversation because they're going to get so much guaranteed money. It's not even crazy. Just unfortunate that this is happening to Lamar. Obviously I feel bad for him. He wants to get paid and I think he deserves to get paid. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's that simple.
I think he does though. Like I think
No,
when
you
it's
will.
all said and done, he will get the contract and this will become the standard. So will Burrow, so will Herbert, and so on and so forth. Trevor down the line. Like whether or not they want to accept it yet, I think that Watson and that deal changed things one way or
Yeah.
the other, especially because of the other cloud of things surrounding Watson. Every other quarterback can just look at it and be like, well, if you gave it to him with all of that included, you can't not give it to me, right?
Yeah.
And that's gonna, and for them, like, why would you bend on that? Why would you allow yourself to be broken on that? Like that's a pretty good stance to take, in my opinion. And I think that the quarterbacks and the players eventually will win this.